It's the Movie Toasty Show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah! Movie Toast.
What's up, Toasties? How you doing for us? How's it going?
I want
How
to
you
know
doing?
how it's doing for us. That's something I would say. I love that.
I was trying to be
right there.
folksy, and I feel like it sounded wrong. As soon as it's out, just trying
You
to be
know what
folksy,
feels wrong
folks.
to me? If you're watching the stream, there's like thick red fucking header saying movie toast and our scroll. It's different than what we normally have, and it's throwing me off. But that doesn't translate well into audio. Welcome to episode 209 of Movie Toast News and Reviews, folks. I can't believe we're this far into the show. Dennis, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, sorry I missed out on all that Oscar fun or not fun from apparently
It
from
was a nightmare.
the handling of the Hulu stream there. We did try to check in to watch it for a few minutes, and it's like, oh, everything's gone. It's not, and then we got booted out of our Hulu account entirely. And
Yeah,
had to
I
log
couldn't
back
log in.
Yep.
And I couldn't load anything even that wasn't the Oscars. So
Right.
Teaches me for trying to do something
Targeted attack. They're coming for us.
against the toast.
Trying to keep us from our movies. It's bullshit.
Assholes. Oh man. You know what they can't keep us from, Dennis?
What's that,
I
Adam?
like to call news.
Gather round, folks, it's time for the scoop. Tune your ears in, let's join the loop.
Joining that loop. What you got for us, Adam?
All right. Up
Oh.
first, Dennis, a few episodes ago, I mentioned that James Bond himself, Mr. Daniel Craig, was in talks to star as Sergeant Rock in DC's Sergeant Rock film that was going to be done by Luca Guadagnino. But it seems like he's no longer interested in starring in said film.
That's too bad. If anyone would be good at killing a bunch of Nazis, it would be Daniel Craig. He's done it before.
He's pretty good at Nazi hunting.
what
Might
was
not have been
that?
an inglorious bastard, but he was a hunter.
It was a Swedish movie.
Defiance?
Is that what it? Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it was. Or Polish. It was that the guy he was playing, I believe, his character was represented in that movie, The Number 24, that I watched a couple episodes back. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's, oh shit, nice. There's the lore of these incredible freedom fighters has been explored many times. But anyway, yeah, sorry, not to detract from.
No.
That's too bad, though. I know. I mean, let's be honest. I feel like the property is going to be, because it hasn't really been done before.
Yeah,
Ever.
it's kind of
that seems like
it's
a
something
solid,
new.
Yeah. Not something we expect to see from DC. That most like average moviegoers would know that's a DC property to pull from. So that'd be pretty badass.
If it's not Superman, Batman, or any of the other Justice League
Wonder
members,
Woman. Yeah.
why bother? They think until it becomes a smash hit,
Right.
And we loved it the whole time.
I think, going back and looking at things like Peacemaker, and like you can have these sort of side stories and the other things going on, especially coming from characters that are well known within the comic book fandom. It turns out they play just fine when you get the right ingredients together on the screen. So
yeah, don't fuck up and you'll be a-okay. But staying in the world of DC, Dennis, I had the wrong slide here. They have finally found a director for the Clayface film that's being written by Mike Flanagan, and it's a director we recently saw a few months ago back in San Diego. James Watkins, the guy who directed Speak No Evil, is tapped to direct this.
Badass. Interesting. So, like,
right?
Have they confirmed whether or not is this the Clayface that's going to be in the DCU?
The Batman? I believe it's DCU. Yes, not the Batman
Exactly.
but the DCU, yeah.
Which I'm definitely here for that. Between the Penguin and the Batman, I'm so fucking ready for more of that corner of the world. Still, let's have a few of these James Gunn DC nuggets fall into our laps first before I can decide how I feel about that quite yet. But
true. And it's just funny because nobody really knows what the DCU is going to be like. And I don't know, I kind of fear that it might lean more towards like Guardians of the Galaxy, which is great, but also not a universe.
Right, yeah. And then it's like, what's funny is I feel like he's even tried to say, no, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's going to be different. But then all of the things that are coming out, it's like sounding more and more like every other MCU movie that has been kicked out. Like, what are you really going to offer different now? But like I said, we got to see a couple of these first before I'm going to be like, oh, this is
make any judgment calls.
Yeah, exactly. They've definitely had some misses. They've definitely had some misses over there in DC, but they've had some really solid stuff come out too. So
true.
We'll just have to bide our time. But Clayface over here, fucking great. I want to know how they're going to get this character to work within that world, since everything is based in like very grounded and things are way more realistic in that version of Batman. So how the fuck are you going to have a shape-shifting creature, or are you just not going to do that? Are you going to make it completely different?
I feel like you got to make him shape shift. That's kind of his thing.
That's what's so terrifying and awesome about him.
I mean, if they want it to work good enough, they can get it to work. And after seeing Speak No Evil, I feel like this director kind of has a pretty interesting look on ways to do things.
Knows how to build tension. Like, even when we know, like, even once you know the direction the story's going, still can keep fueling that anxiety in a very nice incremental manner. I really enjoyed that movie.
And also, there was rumors earlier in the week that Daniel Radcliffe was going to be starring as Clayface. And of course, James Gunn shot that down. And it's like, yeah, of course you're going to shoot it down before you make an official announcement.
Right.
It's like, do we want to believe him? Do we not want to believe him? But it's like, I'd be intrigued to see what Daniel Radcliffe could do as this character.
Guy, this super fucking talented. I wouldn't doubt it. Kind of curious what his accent would sound like. That, there's been a few different versions of what his voice sounds like. Clayface's voice sounds like.
Yes. To me, I just think of the Harley Quinn version, which is Alan Tudyk, and that's all I think of now. But that's definitely more comedic, and you're not getting that with this movie.
Oh, it was wonderful. Oh my god. Yeah, no, because I just think of I can't think of the actor's name, but the way he carries himself in the animated series, where it's very highbrow actor. He's very like it's quite
kind of like a professionally
full of himself, but like he's but then desperate enough to be in the sticky situation that he's in.
And boy, is it sticky.
That it is.
So I guess only time will tell. We just got a director, so I feel like they'll announce casting by Comic-Con, I imagine.
And we're saving it for then, I'm sure, if anything,
Yeah, some type of big
introduce him out on stage, and here comes your Clayface.
Oh man, staying in the realm of superheroes, but going over to Marvel, Lizzie Kaplan was being interviewed recently, and she was supposed to star opposite Channing Tatum in that MCU Gambit movie, and she shed a little bit of light onto what they were going for with it. Did you read anything about this?
I believe it was something along the lines of it being sort of like a romantic comedy, like a 1950s.
She described it as like a 30s screwball romantic comedy, which I can't picture in the MCU, but it'd be a nice, refreshing spin on the superhero genre.
It's something they definitely pushed boundaries when they did WandaVision, and I think they've made some other similar things work for that sort of like going that direction, folding in the Sony somewhat acquired properties, like trying to make all these other avenues all fit into the same place. I appreciate the attempts that they're making. So I don't know. It could have been just fine, especially given where we
Yeah.
finally got to see him in the movie. He totally would have been good with however, like,
But
like you
from
said,
her
slapstick.
description, I don't think we were gonna get that vulgar,
Oh, of course not.
unrealistic
No,
voice,
no. But
which I loved in Deadpool. But in his own film, I don't think that would sustain a feature
oh yeah.
unless I don't know. It'd be interesting if it was, but being a romantic comedy, that'd be like what?
I mean, he's quite the lover boy. That Gambit. He's
Fair enough.
when he falls for someone, it's hard. So
It's that Cajun way.
right, he loves fully, not doesn't half-ass it. That's for sure. But I guess for more of that romance action, you can still go check out X-Men '97, where they're
True.
keeping that storyline alive in various ways. But yeah, that's that would have been an interesting thing.
Marvel series as an X-Men '97. Marvel just announced that they have canceled 3 of their active shows they were in development with out of Strange Academy, Terror Inc., and also what was the third one here?
Whatever the Nova.
Yeah, Nova. Yeah. And Nova was the one that there was a lot of talk, a lot of movement, and the other 2 not so much. But I guess they've learned their lesson trying to treat their TV series as if they're films, and now they want to go a more traditional route and make it officially a show.
I mean, it's like Star Wars definitely, Lucasfilm started to finally figure that out with a lot of their Star Wars series. When you bottle it down too much, you kind of limit how much freedom you get. You actually let that fucker breathe, and you're going to have people coming back and wanting to see more. Don't just give us 6 episodes of something just to get us into the next movie. You know, like, it's like have some faith in your story and write something that we want to gives the audience a chance to want to keep coming back to. So,
and the interesting thing is, like, they've gone on record saying we're actively developing so many things. We know we're not going to make them. And it's like, why not just put your focus on a slate of stuff that you believe in and not just, this could work one day. Seems a little lazy.
It's that, or maybe it's just some long-winded way of getting more world building done. So now if in the back of their minds, they've got this, and these characters doing these things, even though we as audience members aren't aware, they can start formulating those stories of maybe they do, we do finally get to see XYZ character. And then you have this backstory built up. Oh, well, this was going on. I was doing this and I was over here saving this planet or whatever. Would
make sense.
The classic dilemma of, well, if all these are supposed to be in the same universe, why didn't these characters ever come help? And having to constantly have to oh, but we're in this dimension now. No, wait, but now it's like, or you just ease the fuck up and just let it be its own thing for once. But
yeah, they're too deep in it now, I suppose.
Right. Yep. It was really cool at the start.
We're finally getting Daredevil Born Again releasing, and they've announced that the Punisher is getting his own special one-off episode, which John Bernthal is writing or co-writing.
So badass. I loved. I mean, those Netflix Marvel series were great.
Most of them.
Yeah. One of them very not, and another one started off strong.
It's season 2 fizzled for another one, but promising.
Exactly. But
especially back before we had Disney Plus and all these interconnected stories.
Exactly. And it was great. Yeah. And I liked the perspective we were getting of oh yeah, the events of the movies happened over there, literally right
little
there.
Snippets.
But we're worried about what's going on right here. And
street level shit, not world ending bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of excited because Brad Winterbaum, the guy who's in charge over there of the television for Marvel, said it's like a shotgun blast of a story, but also has the pathos and emotion that you want out of a Frank Castle story.
Exactly.
It's so exciting.
That's really why you're there. I mean, the explosions, the guns, the fucking revenge killings, all that stuff. Great entertainment, but the real reason why we're there is that turmoil that Frank Castle's going through, and the
Yes.
drive, like it's the events that occurred to him that give him the drive to be the man he is. That's what's so fascinating about him. That's where the mystere comes from, and that's what makes him such an interesting character. So I'm super excited for that. He fucking crushes it.
Oh, 100%.
Punisher.
I mean, he crushes at everything he does, but he owns that character very much.
I think I watch Fury like every 6 to 10 months, and his just, I mean, all of them are good. Like even now, it's, I mean, actually, yeah, everyone that's in that tank does a fucking great job in that film.
Yeah,
yeah, and he of course he does too. So
sure. And as you were mentioning earlier, the Defenders were fantastic for the most part. Brad Winterbaum also went on to say they're exploring different options of bringing those characters into the MCU.
Nice.
So
maybe not so much Iron Fist. Maybe he can be busy back at.
He'll show up, but
wherever.
Do we need that? I want Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. Come on.
Yes.
I'm
Luke Cage banging Jessica Jones. They could tear down a whole apartment
breaking the bed. Yeah.
That was wild. I appreciated they went that far.
Right.
Fuck yeah. No, this is, I do miss these folks, and I'm here.
It's good to see that now they're being treated as actual MCU characters and not just the bastard.
Yeah.
Well, they're not interconnected characters.
No, exactly. No, it's if they got brought into the fold, like I liked that little bit of crossover we got with She-Hulk, and you know, we mentioned a few things, but if I get to go to the movie theater and see Jessica Jones on the big screen,
right,
kicking ass alongside.
I mean, think of how great there could be a Jessica Jones noir film in the MCU. That could be fun. That would be cool. But we'll never get it, probably. But why not?
Just let Netflix make it. That's fine. They've done right by her so far with their series. So was that 3 seasons, I think, or was it only 2? I want to say that sounds. Let's see. It doesn't matter. They were all good. Man, yeah. Season 1, 2. Because the third one is when her buddy starts getting back into Anyways, sorry. Going off on a tangent now. But see, that's what's so fun about this stuff. There's so much going on, and especially with all these rich characters. Some of them literally rich. Well, sticking with more TV news, your favorite Netflix action series, Extraction, is now getting a series on Netflix. I remember hearing about this. That seems pretty cool. I'm curious if are we keeping our main character though? It's kind of like this is going to be in the world. It's going to have Omar Sy. We're going to follow. Yeah. He is the actor who plays Lupin in the Netflix live action Lupin show. Oh, so they describe it as set in a high octane world of Extraction. The yet untitled action thriller series follows a mercenary as he navigates a dangerous mission to rescue hostages in Libya, trapped between warring fractions and ruthless killers. The series delves into the emotional struggles of conflicted and flawed characters, each facing trauma, betrayal, and life or death choices. Which sounds exactly like the movie, in my opinion. Absolutely. No, it's one of those where the continuation of the story isn't necessarily mean like they're fucking related or something. It's just the tone is what we're carrying into. Like what is that? Halloween 3. It's the tone of Halloween, not our favorite
Mike Myers
killer
popping up.
Exactly.
Laurie Strode fighting him.
Right. I'm on board with that. That's what I showed. That's why I showed up in the first place. It's the way they were telling the story. It's how they were telling the story, not necessarily the actor starring in it. And I'm sure they'll keep going with I think Extraction 3 is on the slate. Yeah. There's no way they're going to let that sit in the sideline. Right. And then this guy starring in the series has been doing well with what he's doing. So hell yeah, I'm definitely checking that one out. For sure. Another news story here. Max is making a television series version of Crazy Rich Asians, and it seems as if it might be a continuation of the film. I know fans have been wanting a sequel for years. Yeah. I know that at one point. wasn't that rumored to have starting like a script getting passed around? Maybe it was the script for the series that was getting passed around, and
Possibly, because now they're saying they've reached out unofficially to cast members from the film to come star in the series,
nice,
which I feel like it's a win-win for everybody at that point.
right?
And of course, John M. Chu did the film, but now he's busy with the Wicked world and killing it with that musical. He is a producer along with the author of the book, and then there's going to be someone else show running. So I feel like I don't know where the story would go, but I know there's a series of books, so it could be interesting.
Nice. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd check out. It's been a while since I've watched it, but I remember just having a lot of fun with Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, it was a
so
surprise sleeper hit that everyone loved.
Yeah, I've anyone I've talked to that has seen the movie has never said anything bad about it. You know, and that's
Yeah.
always that's a good.
That's hard to hit.
Exactly. That's way harder to hit, I think, than most people realize. Just because you're not hearing someone outright bitching and moaning about something, it's like, no, that's a huge deal, actually.
Yeah.
It's
And
really what you
especially
should
to
be paying
have
attention to.
all that talent and it being the first time in like what 25 years to have an all Asian cast like that and hit and be a big success.
And it was
Insane.
funny. The music was catchy. The bigger like numbers were just, it was entertaining and just it drew your eye all over the screen. Like,
wait, was there music in that? I honestly don't recall. It's been
a while. Yeah, I want to say.
I didn't think there was. I know there was like dancing numbers and stuff. So I guess maybe. I don't know.
Well, the music
I
there
just
dancing,
remember the
not in this. Yeah. Like I said, it's been a long
Sorry.
time. So.
Yeah. Anywho, speaking of being a long time, Dennis, Will Smith has announced they're working on a Hancock 2. And they're trying to get Zendaya to star in it with them. Why? 2008. Why now?
Because Will Smith's like, I got a great idea.
It's like,
man. I'm with you.
I remember being excited, but I remember being kind of let down by the film.
This is it's funny. I've referenced this a couple of times at Movie Toast in the past, but this was a film I literally avoided watching because I hated the trailer so much, and it made me feel like I watched the whole goddamn movie. And then by the time I actually got around to watching the movie, I was right. That was the whole fucking movie. With one piece of information that honestly, by the time you got it, I was just like, this is the fucking big secret. This is
right. You can see
that
was
written
written on the wall.
Exactly.
Now, the only thing that sticks out in my head as interesting for this movie is the fact that Vince Gilligan wrote it. I'm like, how do you write something like that and then make Breaking Bad?
Wow.
And Better Call Saul?
Because he's getting paid to write Hancock, and then on the side he's like, wait, I got this other idea though.
And I love how they're like,
gonna make meth.
I love how they're like, we have Charlize Theron, but we need new blood. Let's get Zendaya. She's hot right now. And it's like, all right, you want her, but is she interested?
Right. And is this, it seems like she's kind of doing a more artsy track to her film. Yeah. Which I'm like, fucking go for it. You don't need to be a superhero. Right. It's fine. Spoke too soon. I guess it's going to happen anyways, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
We'll have to see if that happens.
Yeah. I just don't see the point. Let's go make the Old Guard 2 before you make Hancock 2.
Right. But staying in the realm of Zendaya, the big news of the week was Zendaya is playing Shrek's daughter, Felisa. But there's a lot of turmoil here because Shrek, Fiona, Donkey all look different in their new animation style. And fans are freaking out saying they don't want it.
Now, as the fucking president of the fan club, I'm curious, what is your take?
I have mixed feelings on this. All right. So the day this announcement came out, I was on YouTube looking at stuff and I saw like the little the clip art. And I'm like, oh, that looks like, you know, how certain companies make fake trailers like, oh, here's the movie you're looking for.
Yeah.
Click and play here. And I'm like, oh, that's just a poorly rendered Shrek knockoff. That's not real. And then I hop on Deadline and they're like, Zendaya. I'm like, oh, fuck. But it's funny. The night before that came out, one of the Shrek fan pages I follow on Instagram, because there's a lot of them because the world loves Shrek,
Oh,
They did call out the fact that if you go back and look at all the trailers, the look in the trailers don't necessarily match the look of the film.
for
And
sure.
then even some of the jokes and the way things happen in the trailer don't transpire in the film. So it's like not 100% sure that this is going to be the actual look, but DreamWorks has been doing interesting animation styles. Like all their animation looks slightly different and unique from other studios. And with Puss in Boots, they had a gorgeous look for the sequel. And I think they're trying something different. And my thought here is it's been like 20 fucking years. Sure, Shrek and Fiona are going to look different. If you go back and watch a sitcom from the 80s or 90s,
right,
the actors look older then than they look now. People change over time.
Oh yeah,
I have faith in what these guys are doing.
and to go along with what you're saying,
freak out.
and to admit, like to piggyback your example, actually, not only are the actors going to age, but the equipment being used to film the show is wildly different. The style of animation they employed when they first made Shrek, I mean, we are so many fucking light years past what they had to do back then, especially the amount of effort it took to even accomplish that much. Now it's a lot different. They can add detail they never even imagined they could show us when that when the first one came out. And like,
you know,
especially the thumbnail here,
if they looked exactly like they looked in the last Shrek film, people would be like, oh, why are they lazy? It looks kind of shitty compared to everything else. So there's no winning.
Exactly. People say,
you think they're going to throw away one of their biggest IPs? I don't think so. They know what they're doing. But it's funny because people have been comparing it to the way Sonic looked, and they're hoping to get a redesign. And even the Sonic team has gone out and tweeted different posts about like, hey, I know certain green ogre that has changed his look. Like they're just calling it out and joking around about it. It's like, I don't know. Time will tell, I suppose.
I get the frustration for, especially the people, you know, who are working on the film, that are like, look, you don't even, clearly you don't appreciate the amount of effort this takes to even get this far. That's the poison that the fandom loves to drink. There's so many great, being such a Star Wars fan, there are so many great memes about just making fun of the Star Wars fans. For some reason, we just love to shit on each other. I don't get it.
Right.
I don't necessarily believe I partake that often, unless you're calling Jar Jar a fucking Sith, and that just crawls under my skin. I'm just, knock that shit off, people. You got your damn Lego toy now.
Exactly.
Get at it now. Shut up about it. But yeah, it's like, come on, like just either enjoy the films you want to enjoy, or go along for the ride and accept things are going to be different, because it's
and no one's forcing you to watch it.
Exactly.
You don't have to. You can love the 4 films that are out there.
There you go.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm most intrigued. Shrek has 2 other children. They haven't announced who those 2 are going to be.
Holy crap!
And I'm so intrigued because I've been trying to wrap my mind around what is the story going to be. And it's like, oh yeah, they're parents now. They have teenage kids. There's so much you can do with this, I guess, at this point.
And with our voice cast aging the way they have, their voices and characters can come from actual experience in their lives, and it's I like this. No, it's the inverse of how Shrek lived his life. You know,
everything that he despised is now kind of the way he lives.
I'm curious. Random thing. Is there any reference to like the lifespan of an ogre in the films? Like,
not that I know of.
Interesting.
Although we do know that people do die because Fiona's father, the king, died. So, it's out there.
What is like? Yeah, I guess I'm just given how much time has passed. How do the kids age?
But not Shrek. But that's what I'm saying here. If you look at this picture, they look different, and it makes sense. Like you can see bags around Shrek's eyes almost,
which there should be. Yeah,
Fiona looks a little more weathered down. And it's like, why not? And the daughter looks a little bit modern and hip, like a kid these days, which is weird, but it would make sense, I suppose, in that world. Why not? And
then even Donkey's fur is like a little more
bewildered.
Yeah,
lived in, tough, gruff.
Seen
I'm down for it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It could be fun. It's like you said, it's a property they care for enough that they're not going to do their best to not do it dirty,
Right.
Especially that it's been this long. They're not like crapping them out every year. So
Exactly, which they could have done. And I think they learned their lesson, because initially Shrek 5 was supposed to come out years ago. But after Shrek 4, they decided to pull the throttle back because they're like, oh, we're kind of losing momentum and steam. And it kind of showed a bit because the movies got slightly worse as they went on. Still good, but not as good as the original. So that's why you got to have faith that they're coming back so long after the last that they know what they're doing. I don't know.
I'm with you.
It's been sitting with me a lot the past week. It's just been eating away at me.
Soon enough. You'll know soon enough, though.
Yes. I'm looking forward to finding out who his other children are. I'm excited. It could be anyone at this point.
Is it the characters themselves or the casting that you're more excited about?
Both, honestly.
Nice.
Because last time we saw them, they were babies, and now they're apparently young adults. And I want to know, at this point, Donkey and Dragon have those hybrids. They should be characters too.
Are they? Yeah. Oh my God. Are they talking?
But do they talk?
Dragon
because
donkeys?
Donkey doesn't shut the fuck up, but Dragon doesn't talk.
Right.
Sorry, I feel like I've gone on too long ranting about Shrek. I'm sorry.
This week on Shrekcast.
I could, man. The world needs it. It's gonna be out there.
Shrekfluencer?
Sticking with nostalgia, Dennis. It has been announced that A.O. Edinburgh is going to be writing the Daniel Kaluuya produced Barney feature film. And it's going to be in the vein of a Spike Jonze, Charlie Kaufman style movie.
Oh.
And apparently what they're going with, they're saying we're leaning into the millennial angst of the property rather than fine tuning for kids. It's really a play for adults. It's not R-rated, but it'll focus on some of the trials and tribulations of being 30-something, growing up with Barney, just the level of disenchantment within a generation.
Okay, like Barbie. It's not.
Yeah.
We're not. Okay. Interesting.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. No. You piqued my interest. I'm just like, what the?
And I like her as an
gonna
actress. I didn't know she was a writer. So I'm wondering if she's going to star in it as well. They haven't said.
Interesting. No, all right.
Yeah.
Interest peaked. I'm checking in for that one.
The fact that it's not like just it's for kids. It is for kids who grew up. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I'm
next around the corner, lamb chop.
Ooh, man, I love lamb chop. Let's do that. Speaking of a property everyone knows and loves that's been around for years, the big news of the past couple of weeks is the fact that Amazon now pretty much has full control of the James Bond property because they're not happy with the way Barbara Broccoli has been running things, even though she's been doing it for 60 plus years.
Right.
They feel like it's been too long since the last one came out, and they just want to get more of a interconnected 007 universe out into the world. I'm afraid.
Yeah, because there's things they've talked about doing in the past that I'm just like, we don't need spin-off stories. We come to James Bond to see James Bond, not 002, not 012, whatever the fuck. I don't just say whatever it is you want. Like, yeah, some of the things they've tossed around in the past, I'm like, oh, that's not what the series is about. The earlier films, you had books for all those movies.
Based Ian Fleming's books. Yeah.
Now that we're away from the book, like they've done all of the books, right? I believe
so. I think they've done some a couple of times, at least once or twice for some of them.
That's true. It's when they start going off the track, sometimes it gets a little dicey.
Because let's even just talk about the Daniel Craig. There's some great ones and some mediocre ones, and then they end it on a bang. And it's like, give it time to breathe. You killed 007 in the last movie. Never been done before.
Right.
Let's want him back before we just shit out a new film or television series or prequel.
Yeah. And it was just reading about, there was someone, there's an actor who said when he was in his 20s, he got a call to audition to play James Bond. And he was just like, no, thank you. James Bond shouldn't be 24 years old. That's
Yeah.
how old. I forget who it was, but he's like, that's
I think
how
I
old I was
remember
at the time.
someone. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
it's like
weird,
that just doesn't
man.
make sense. He's experienced. He's mature. He's already fought wars. It's like
Which,
when you're
don't get us
seeing
wrong,
him.
it'd be great to see that. And guess what? We have the
Oh, sure.
Kingsman. We have other properties that explore that option. But we don't
Yes.
need to see an inept James Bond struggling. It's
Right.
not what we want.
Which, like, I feel like the Casino Royale was kind of tried to do that a little,
Mhm.
and it was fine, but it was still like far enough in his career that it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
If we can suffer through Timothy Dalton, sorry, Timothy.
George Lazenby.
Oh, yeah, George Lazenby. Didn't he just do one?
One. Yep.
He
yep.
just did one. Oh God, I can't. That's
Only
what I think I've
Australian
only
James
ever
Bond.
seen once. Yeah, that's why he's got to be British.
Hulu made a movie about that whole situation, and it was the
That's
weirdest meta
right.
film. It was crazy. But yeah, apparently they spent $1 billion to get major control. When they bought MGM, they had 50% stake in the property. But now, $1 billion in, it's like, all right, I'm kind of intrigued to see what Barbara Broccoli and her estate are going to feel about what's happening. And I feel like Jeff Bezos is a Bond villain.
Right. The who was it? Jane Seymour, I think, who's been a Bond girl once upon a time. Like just straight up posts, it's like, well, it's been nice knowing you, James Bond franchise. Guess
Right.
We'll have to see whatever happens to this property now, because it's never going to be the same again. Like, she was very blunt about it. It's like, oh fuck, tell us how you really feel, Jane.
Hey, why not talk up about it? Like,
yeah, because it's that type of shit should hopefully steer the ship back towards keep it James Bond. Whatever James Bond is, whoever it is, but it's this one perspective. We're going to yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those things you shouldn't fuck with too much.
It's like Amazon has good properties, but it's like you have a formula that's worked for 60 plus years. Why fuck with it?
It's just all more reason to go back and enjoy the films that I do enjoy, which I find out ironically is some consider the worst. But I loved Moonraker. I loved Man with the Golden Gun.
I honestly gotta go back and watch. I feel like the classics I've never fully watched. Like I've seen all the Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig, of course, but
you got to do Man with the Golden Gun. Christopher Lee plays the main villain, as he's always a fucking fantastic villain, Scaramanga. It's Roger Moore is still, he's still my favorite James Bond. There's something about the style in that movie, and it's very globetrotting, and I don't know. I really dig that one.
Yeah. I mean, I remember back as a kid, my dad would watch them. I'm like, these are so boring. But now, with the appreciation of the franchise and whatnot, I assume they live up.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that do. Some are pretty fucking cheesy, but as it goes.
Why not? All right, here we have one more news story. Scorsese and DiCaprio are producing, or shopping around at least, a movie that's being pitched from an idea of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt about a crime caper set in Hawaii that's being kind of compared to The Departed and Goodfellas, and starring the two Jungle Cruise actors.
I was just going to say, hey, Dwayne.
Sounds like
wasn't
a Mad Libs.
Making that movie in the jungle. Should we go to another tropical island and make a movie again? Yeah, let's do that.
But let's get DiCaprio and Scorsese behind us.
We won't.
I never thought I'd see someone who shits over superhero movies and everything. Like, yeah, I'll make a movie for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Right.
It's funny. I've been watching. We have screeners for this upcoming Apple TV Plus series called The Studio, that is about Seth Rogen as a character who now took over a dying studio. And he wants to make he has to make a movie about Kool-Aid. And Martin Scorsese really wants to make a movie, I think, about, I forget what the cult is, but the cult that drank the Kool-Aid. And essentially,
yeah,
Seth Rogen's character hires him, and he's like, all right, we can make the movie, but we got to call it Kool-Aid. And like, there's this whole like through line story about that. That's just like, holy fuck, things like this happen all the time.
God, that's
in
funny.
the world.
Yeah. That's great.
But I'm sorry. Taken away from this Hawaii movie, but
that's funny.
It's this feels like a Mad Lib's gone wrong. And I'm intrigued.
Refrigerator magnets just getting rearranged and
yeah. But it's just being shot. Nobody's bought it, I guess.
Scorsese. Yeah. All right, Marty. What do you got for us?
Mind in old age.
Yeah. We'll have to see. It's an interesting.
That was one thing I did like in the Oscars. There was this whole sketch kind of interlude in between where Conan was like pitching a movie theater for like millennials. He's like, oh, it's like watching TikToks, but instead of holding your phone, the building holds it for you, and it's a bunch of little phones put together in a giant screen. And like people are like, wait, isn't that just a movie theater? And then at the end, it's like presented by Martin Scorsese, and then they have like a shot of Martin Scorsese walking out of an apartment. He's like, that's right, I love cinema. Or it's just like, what the fuck is this? This sketch, and then like a cell phone video of Scorsese talking about it was weird. I love it.
That's great. Oh my god, what a good sport.
Yeah.
You think they'll get Conan to do it again?
I don't know, man. It's like probably, but
he seemed like he was all about it, but
it's not. It felt like he couldn't fully do everything, but he did kind of pull some punches. Made a joke about the Kendrick Drake beef, and actually said, this is the point in the show where Kendrick's going to come out and call Drake a child predator. And I'm like, ooh, all right.
Bam.
Not really topical.
Firing shots.
Yeah, he's like, I have lawyers. I'm lawyered up. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure Conan's got a solid team for that.
Right.
Oh, damn.
All right, well, that does it for the news here, folks.
Want to get into some polls?
Let's do it.
Polls. Yeah.
All right. With our tragic 1, 2, 3 punch of dead celebrities this past week.
God, yeah.
I put out a poll about everyone's favorite Gene Hackman film and didn't really get the traction. But I also put out a poll about Michelle Trachtenberger, wanting to know what the Toastie's favorite film of hers was out of Harriet the Spy, Inspector Gadget, Eurotrip, and Ice Princess.
I think I made my parents rent the Harriet the Spy VHS tape many times. I loved that movie as a kid. It's like we even owned Inspector Gadget. I might have watched Harriet the Spy more often than that. That's my first. I feel like my first experience with hers. I was a fan of her, and pretty much everything she was in that came across. It's like I believe I've even seen Ice Princess maybe once because my sisters were watching it or wanted to see it or whatever. I was never one to pass up going to the movies regardless.
Sure, you'd be a fool if you did.
It's and then of course Eurotrip, classic raunchy comedy there that's got some stupid but hilarious gags running throughout the film, and she did a great job in that movie. Me personally would probably still be Harriet the Spy then.
I'm not gonna lie, it's weird. I feel like I remember it coming out, but I don't recall seeing it. And I know Rosie O'Donnell was in it. I don't know why. I feel like I gotta watch it. People love that film. I remember, of course, Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
I never saw Ice Princess, but Eurotrip is honestly one of my all-time top favorite films. So let's find out what the Toasties had to say about it.
They're regular brownies.
These are not pot brownies, man. We are a simple Dutch bakery. Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
what a film.
Yeah. Inspector.
0% for
No
Inspector
love.
Gadget.
Damn.
What is up with that? I thought that would be somewhere in the middle at least, if not the top.
Matty Broads didn't bring the heat. It's funny because I just had War Games on the other day. The guy's had a very interesting career spanning decades.
That's for sure.
And then he made this.
And then they made straight to DVD Inspector Gadget. Did that star French Stewart?
Yes, French Stewart then plays Inspector Gadget in that one. I remember randomly getting into the lore for Inspector Gadget. Never mind. I'm gonna go off on a fucking.
I love the cartoon. I'll give you that. The film,
the original.
I gotta rewatch. I think I saw it once.
It was a classic because what was the famous studio that animated Inspector Gadget? That did a bunch of stuff in the.
But they were big in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that theme song, man.
Yeah. That'll get stuck in your head.
Shit. Hey, Al, if you're listening and you're editing, so I guess you are, why don't we put that theme song as our closing song in the podcast?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Back to the polls, folks.
Yes, Michelle.
17% for Ice Princess.
There we go. That's right. That's right. She's like has this deep understanding of like physics and stuff. That's how she becomes the like
Is it like, aerodynamics if I do a 40-degree slant in my ice skating?
Yeah, shit like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's she sees the math of how it's done.
Huh.
And
interesting.
I forget the rest of it. There's a boy, I'm pretty sure.
Of course, there's always a boy.
That's not why I was there. So
oh man, I'm just more shocked that this came out after Eurotrip. I'm like, wow, you go from a very raunchy adult film to a family wholesome Disney film. Good on you.
Oh yeah, and then I want to say this came out around the same time as fucking Silent Hill. So I feel like I remember being at the theater seeing both posters up in the same like. Oh wait.
Oh man.
What a time. Interesting. Yeah.
33% for Harriet the Spy, folks.
Little baby face. God. Yeah, right? It was just so cool. Her character was so cool. I wanted to be this observant and like this sort of like sleuthy,
right?
Detective sort
of.
Such
a role model for young girls to want to achieve as well.
Fuck
the Hardy Boys.
Great story.
I didn't realize that she was in Pete and Pete. I was.
Oh yeah, I didn't either until I saw the Danny Tamborelli post on Instagram a few stills from the show. It's like God, man,
crazy.
Yeah.
But of course, folks, that leaves 50% for my favorite Eurotrip, which baffles me. I thought Eurotrip would be the bottom poll. Like
really? I don't know.
I don't hear people talk about it.
I see people on Reddit reference Eurotrip, either whether it's lines of dialogue or using stills as like meme templates and shit like that. The infamous, her arriving to the nude beach and then all the dudes like fucking running after. It's all these stupid when they're making out at the bar.
Her and her brother, her twin brother. You made out with your sister, dude.
Oh Jesus!
I watched that DVD so many fucking times. I remember trying to get into the theater to see it, and like just hitting so many roadblocks. They're like, nope. And then one time we actually had tickets at concession, and then they came up and they're like, oh yeah, we got to refund your ticket. You're not. And so what? And then eventually got in because I was not taking no for something about the movie. Yeah. I'm like, I need to see this.
There you go. There's your movie. A young Adam Hart he's going to get into that screen.
You can't stop me. You can, but I'll eventually get there. And then, not gonna lie, fantastic soundtrack. Like some hits that you know and love, but in different languages. Oh man,
I do like that. Yeah, nice. That's what I've been liking about this season of White Lotus. I like hearing these like American pop and rock songs, but in Thai.
I haven't been able to start it yet.
Oh,
we gotta wait till there's more episodes. That and Yellow Jackets. Adam likes to watch things as they air, but
true.
not happening this
So
season.
I'm guessing Severance is also on that list of.
No, I'm a solo Severance watcher, but yeah,
Ah.
no, I got a lot of some screeners I got to knock out before I get to Severance, and I want to have it all there so I can. I love how I'm like, my fiance won't let me watch these 2 shows because she wants them all to be out there to watch. But I need to wait for Severance to be all out there for me to watch. But the difference is, I will sit down and watch Severance nonstop.
Oh, for
With us, it's going to be, oh, we'll watch an episode here or there. We don't want to do too many episodes in a row. And it's like, yeah, I do.
That's what we started letting the pit stack up because we didn't realize until we started the series, it all takes place in like 24 hours, or it's all real time, the entire series.
Shit. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I was like, oh fuck, I haven't been able to enjoy this since 24. and
but is there a ticking clock like 24? Tick,
tick, tick. Kind of. It tells you what time at the beginning of each episode. It tells you what time it is, and then there are so many of these little branching storylines. They're doing a great job of not telling you too much about what's going on over here and keeping you interested in what's going on over there. Fantastic show, and it's not just like ER again. This is very different. Like, it feels very different. It's a lot more medical drama. It's more about the patients, and you get these little slivers of the character stories, and I like that a lot more. Yeah. Nice. Anyways,
speaking of TV talk, Dennis, we recently reviewed the final part 3 of season 6 of Cobra Kai, and we were talking about what we wanted to see a spinoff of, because there's talk of the Binary Bros getting their own spinoff, but we went on tangents about, oh, they should get a spinoff. They should get a spinoff. So I wanted to know who the Toasties thought should get a spinoff out of Tori and Robbie, Samantha and Miguel, Eli and Dimitri, and Chosen and Kim. I know we talked about it last week, but who you with?
Kim and Chosen. I want to see what the fuck is going to happen at that school. It's going to be very much like what just like the 2 schools went through their trials and tribulations in Los Angeles
with Miyagi-Do. Yep.
Yeah, Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai coming
together.
Eagle Fang.
Yeah, before he changed it back, or he got the name back. But Kim and Chosen I feel like go through their own relationship, but then restoring the school into something that they're going to find as being respectable again, and not training their pupils in ways that, they're not actually going out to assassinate people. This is a very different. We don't need to be living like that.
Right.
That's the one I would honestly
children.
Yeah, right.
I'm with you.
It's
either Kim and Chosen for me or Tori and Robbie, I think, because you made a very good point of now they are like spokespeople. They're actually doing stuff with their karate expertise, which could be fun.
And they'll have this like endorsement backing that they could then start doing more tournaments. And it would make sense for them to for us to keep seeing them do more karate shit. It's especially.
And you could bring in other characters from the world every now and again, and it wouldn't feel out of place.
I've already seen things about what's her name from the Silver Dragons or whatever.
Oh yeah.
The influencer girl. People saying we need more of her. We need more of her. I was kind of like,
Yui?
No.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm fine without that.
Kind of a shitty person.
But she would make sense in a Tori and Robbie series, though.
Although it could be cool treating her as kind of our Johnny Lawrence character and finding a redeeming quality, although she was more evil than Johnny. She specifically was looking for trouble and found it.
She was trying to start shit and then got mad when she got called out on it. I think she'd be a good antagonist to
definitely in that
Tori
world.
And Robbie, because she already showed she believes she needs that attention, and she's had the
if you can't have it,
and they start getting it, and they and when they weren't even trying to gain that sort of attention. So
100%.
Yep.
So let's see what the Toasties had to say about this. 0% for the Binary Bros.
Exactly.
Eli and Dimitri.
Love those guys. Love those guys.
They're great.
They're great characters.
Background characters.
Exactly. Give me a B story with them. I'm here for it. But to anchor as their own thing, no. It's not even a karate show anymore. It's just you know, no disrespect
Science?
to two very talented performers,
Definitely.
but I don't want to see that show.
I'm with you. And neither do the Toasties.
Yes. Nobody does. There we go.
27% for Kim and Chosen.
Oh.
For a while, it was number one when I first posted it, but then over time it changed. But
Interesting.
yeah.
Although I gotta say that is still a good size number. That's not nothing.
It's not nothing.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
33% for Tori
Really?
and Robbie. Yeah, everyone. 40% for Samantha and Miguel. I guess it's close to the other two, but I feel like they're the most bland and boring couple.
They kind of
Not
they
a
don't
lot
have
going on.
they don't have the heat.
No,
you know,
not
it's
as sexy.
it's cutesy, and there's that little bit of like wavering. But it wasn't even like it never even got that far.
No, it just didn't have that fiery passion. Now, I will say I would be intrigued to see Samantha in the other country and learning from someone who's not her dad, but there's only so much you can do with that. And Miguel has to go back to college. And,
right. And from what I understand, she won't be in the upcoming film.
No. Supposedly, at least.
Right. If what
Which
they're leaking is
last week I tried to rewatch the Jackie Chan one, and
I
know I saw it in the drive-ins with Strickland.
Yeah.
I remembered zero of that. And I even texted him, I'm like, I know we saw this movie together, right? He's like, yeah, but it's just that unremarkable. And I'm like, it is pretty forgettable.
It's not karate, it's kung fu. Wasn't that even a line in the movie? Like
I gave up.
You gave shit.
I had an hour left, and I already felt like I was an hour and a half
lost
in,
too much
and
time.
It was
Yeah.
just so.
I mean, fuck.
Editing is very important to a film.
Editing is very important to a film. We just rewatched The Karate Kid the other night. Still fucking awesome. The one that started it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a great movie.
Sure.
I mean,
and there's a reason people love it.
Yes.
And why this franchise still holds up.
You got to go back to the original one. No trying to remake it, but whatever. I'm curious now that we're just like, you know what? That's a yes and movie. That's not restarting the franchise.
And
now
even when we started Cobra Kai, fucking Ralph Macchio was like, it's never gonna happen. But they backed that money truck up, and it's happening.
Right.
And Jackie Chan, he doesn't need the money. So
oh no,
what's the point? But I'll see it. I will be there. My love of Cobra Kai will get my ass in that seat.
Oh yeah, definitely. And while all those elements mixed together, it's like, okay, yeah, you got me. I'm here for that.
100%. Speaking of reasons to be here, Dennis, I think the people are here for one reason in particular. A little thing called reviews.
Lights, camera, action, it's review time. Dennis and Adam, we gon' blow your mind. We're stepping up to the plate, ready to swing. Analyzing movies like a scientist would play.
All right, Dennis, you're leading us off.
Yes, I had a fun little experience recently. Of course, that's exactly when I closed my window here. I saw a little rumor online. If you right now want to watch the 1977 theatrical cut of Star Wars, it's around. It's still kicking, and not some illegal like torrent website. You can, if you have a streaming TV, some sort of streaming device that you watch your stuff through, there's an app called Cinema Box, and you can watch the Harmy's Despecialized edition of Star Wars. Now, for those of you not familiar with what this is fans, a dedicated group of Star Wars fans, reassembling the original 77 version of the film through various VHS and Laserdisc collections, versions of the film from before the initial special edition that Lucasfilm released in, 93, 95, something like that. And then there's the special edition re-release in like 90. Well, there was the special edition is technically what that one was called, 97, where they added in all the extra scenes and the extra CG effects and stuff.
CG Java.
Literally Adam and I went to a marathon of episodes 4, 5, and 6, and I got into a fucking argument with the guy in the parking lot afterwards. There were separate VHS releases. They were not all just special edition, all including that shit. So this is the closest I've ever come to watching the VHS version I remember when I was a kid. It's awesome. Peeling back the additional special effects, peeling away the pumped up and re-recorded versions of some of the score. The ships don't have a lot of extra effects on them, so it's the models themselves. There's something like it's like listening to vinyl. You know, I loved watching it so much. Maybe this isn't the best choice for introducing someone to Star Wars, or maybe it is.
It could be the best way.
Yeah, it's if you're craving the pre-special edition version of Star Wars, check it out. Now, what I want to mention. So the app, Cinema Box, you may or may not have access to it. Apparently, it gets taken down and put back up multiple times a year. Like just last year, it was removed from Roku. So I would say if you're interested, get to it sooner rather than later, because it may go away. There may be some things about it that aren't kosher. I don't know. I can't speak for that, but I do know that in your home right now, you can watch for free. The app Cinema Box is free. Get on there and you search for Star Wars. It'll just come up as Star Wars too. So be careful about the source, which app it's coming from. So it doesn't redirect you to one of the other versions or open up Disney Plus for you. But the let me get the name right. The Harmy's Despecialized Edition is what they call it. Yeah, highly recommend it. Go check it out. Star Wars fans.
How many slices are you giving it?
Fucking 4.5. No, four slices.
Oh, I've been fighting you to get 5 stars for 5 years. Now we're 4.5 in.
No, it's a 4 slicer for me, but that's just being the big old Star Wars nerd that I am. It's like I said, it's a nostalgia thing.
Was it only A New Hope, or is it all 3?
This was A New Hope. The creators of the edit, Harmy did all 3 of them, but they're not all on Cinema Box. The other ones, you would have to use other means to acquire them, but we will not tell you how to do that here, because I'm not a big fan of that practice. But getting to see it in this format, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Nice.
I did enjoy this quite a bit.
Fair enough. All right. Talking about nostalgia, Dennis, on episode 208, I reviewed The Monkey, and I told you I fell asleep, and I didn't give it a fair assessment. Well, one of my friends listened to that episode and was intrigued to check out the movie per my review. And he asked me if I wanted to go see it with him, and I said, yeah, why not? I got to check it out again. And I stood awake this whole time, and I cracked the code of what was going on in my head, what felt off, why it felt off. I went into that movie expecting a hardcore R-rated gore fest. And it was a gore fest, but it wasn't a hard R horror film. It's more of a midnight movie. It's a schlocky comedy horror, which I love, and I eat that shit up. So looking at it with that lens, I had a greater appreciation for it. And when I did fall asleep towards the third act, I missed some pretty pivotal information. So I'm giving a little bit of a touch-up of my review of The Monkey. If you don't know, folks, it's essentially about 2 twin brothers who discover a monkey toy that their father had, and they make sure to tell you it's not a toy. But when you turn the key in the back of the monkey, he plays the drums, but once the drums are played, someone dies that's connected to these boys. And they try to get rid of the toy, and years later into their adulthood, it comes back in a big bad way to haunt them, and they got to stop the monkey. I enjoyed it. All right. Looking at it as a B movie, as a midnight movie, I'm going to give The Monkey 3.5 slices of toast.
Oh, shit. That is quite the jump. Okay.
And I was afraid. My buddy, I recently told a while ago, oh, man, if you're choosing between 2 movies, horror movies, I think he was talking about seeing Smile 2 or another movie. And I'm like, you won't be let down by other movie, man. I really dug this and that. And then he's like, I saw Smile 2 and I hated it. So I'm like, oh boy. And we're walking out.
I tried to tell you.
We're walking out of the theater, and he's like, "Yeah, it was more comedy and this and that, but it was my kind of movie." I'm like, "Ah, good. I didn't let him down fully with that review." And I'm
Nice.
hoping more people will give this film another shot. Only thing that kind of sucked, I did tell my friend, "Oh, there's a trailer for his next movie at the end of this." And he's like, "I don't want to sit around for that." I'm like, "Okay, we don't have to
Oh no!
that
Oh
life."
shoot!
So I still don't know what that's about. But I did see the trailer for Alison Brie and Dave Franco's new movie, which played before it, and it was recently in big festival, and people loved it, and that looks pretty badass.
Yeah.
And hard to
Okay.
explain. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
But we're here for newer movies to talk about and older movies, and I think you got a older movie to kick us off with this episode.
Yes. I got a fun little flick that as Adam mentioned, I do like to go back and find those gems that slipped by, or you find this assemblage of cast members you had no idea did a movie together, and this is one of those. I watched Quick Change. So this is at the time of recording, it's available on Prime Video, but it is leaving their library in about 10 days or so. So
Get to it, kids.
Yeah, get to it soon if you'd like to. This was released back in January 1st, 1990, and it stars a few folks you might have heard of. Little Bill Murray, Gina Davis, and oh my God, Randy Quaid.
Randy fucking Quaid?
Yes. As well as a few other faces you'll recognize. Tony Shalhoub, Stanley Tucci, Jason Robards, and Kurtwood Smith are all in the film as well.
Oh, what an all-star cast!
It's a quirky, very Bill Murray-esque comedy about three folks. Actually, that's the thing. Starting the movie off, you don't even know it's all three of them robbing the bank. Bill Murray in a clown costume is sticking up a bank. And he's got the whole thing locked down, getting surrounded by the police. He's doing these classic, Bill Murray quips, but the very comedic tension is building up outside the bank. Jason Robards is playing the New York City police chief. He's getting frustrated with this goofy guy who's holding the bank up, and they're trying to figure out who he is, where he's going. As they make their escape with his accomplices, Gina Davis and Randy Quaid, they quickly are discovering, as well planned as their robbery was, just enough went wrong that the police are hot in their tail, and they're struggling to escape the city. So even though it's high stakes, it's crime, there's gunplay going on, it's a comedy throughout, and it is actually quite funny. I had a great time watching this. It's kind of like a road movie, even though it doesn't actually travel all that far. It's just their journey. I mean, they go from driving to being on foot to riding the taxi cab to riding a bus just to try to get to JFK. And meanwhile, they're stealing money from mobsters, and they're packing ladies' groceries. Like it's this funny, quirky that I've come to know and enjoy from Bill Murray films. And to be honest, Murray, Davis, and Quaid shine throughout the whole thing. Randy Quaid is kind of like the bumbling. He's got the heart of gold, but he doesn't really. He's
so
got,
Randy Quaid is a Randy Quaid.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not saving the world in this movie, though.
No, he's not. He's not back. He's here for the first time. But yeah, it all takes place. I mean, I don't know the geography of New York personally, but I like that the city itself seems to be represented as another character. It moves at a quick pace. It's only like 88 minutes, so it moves fast, and very little time is wasted. But I had fun. I thought it was a neat little movie, and it's one of those where I'm like, why don't I see this on TV more often? Why doesn't TBS play the fuck out of this when? Well, actually, as I say that, there are a lot. They do say fuck a lot in this movie. Surprisingly, I wasn't expecting that. But Quick Change, I'm gonna give it 3 slices of toast, and I had a good time watching this.
Not bad.
Maybe
when
it is for everyone, but it's fun.
When I saw the clip art when I was putting together the package for the video feed of the show, I'm like, oh, is this a Bobcat Goldthwait type movie? And I was shocked. I believe, if I'm not wrong, Murray co-directed this.
Yes, co-directed it, co-produced it, stars in
Interesting.
it. Yeah, I was surprised to see that too. As the credits were going by, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, okay."
That's
I'm
pretty
curious how
badass.
that worked, but yeah, well, it's one of those. Like, I was genuinely surprised by it, going in not expecting anything. I did watch the trailer before, like the original trailer that was cut back then,
Mm.
and it definitely made it seem like they're on the run for way more of the movie than they actually are. We're
Mm.
in the bank. Almost the entire first act of the movie is in the bank. When I
Huh.
thought we were just like getting out of there, but
Interesting.
um, and I thought there'd be more lead into the bank robbery. Fucking, it's like Batman. You just boom, we're in there. Like this is where they came up with the scene for the
Hey,
Dark
why
Knight.
not, man?
It's this is
And Chris Nolan's taking notes from fucking Bill Murray, man. That's how
from
it should
90s
be.
Bill Murray movies. Yeah.
Respect. Oh man.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I have something that's comedic, but more of a dark comedy. But it stars Bill Murray, so we're keeping that theme alive, folks.
Hey, love it.
I have a film called Riff Raff. Riff Raff. I don't know what the fuck I just said before that. All right, so this movie is a fun little caper, almost. A very contained little dark comedy. You have a father, a man with his new family, and I say new, but they've been married and together for 18 years. A happy family. Everything's good for this family. There's a father, a son, and a mother. And they're at their cabin getaway for New Year's Eve to celebrate the New Year. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, bang, 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 knock on the door. In comes the father's son from his previous marriage, along with his pregnant wife and his alcoholic mother who's passed out. And this doesn't sit well with the father's current wife. Of course, the son is excited because this is something different, but they're wondering what's going on here. Why are you here? You're not here just to visit. Something's up.
Right.
And it turns out he did something that is attracting some heat that he does not want. He's being hunted down by two ruthless killers played by Bill Murray and Pete Davidson. And to make matters worse, it turns out the father in this situation isn't a happy-go-lucky family guy like we know. He used to be a killer who worked with Bill Murray. So he knows the impending danger that's coming. And it's just all these comedic events that lead up to the showdown. And it starts off with the family being held hostage in the cab with everyone there. And then they go back in time and show how it all transpired.
Okay.
It has a star-studded cast here. It's fantastic. Ed Harris is the dad. Gabrielle Union's his new wife. Like I said, 18 years, so not really new, and they call that out in the movie. His ex-wife is none other than the White Lotus's Jennifer Coolidge. His oldest son is played by Lewis Pullman, and then there's a few other people in the film who you're like, oh, that person. And everyone's giving a very nuanced performance, and they build tension really well, and they set things up just like a perfect domino set because you know it's going to eventually fall down the track. I had a good time watching Riff Raff. This might be one of my top films of the year so far.
Wow.
I'm giving Riff Raff 3.5 slices of toast. Go check it out in theaters if this sounds interesting to you. It was pretty interesting to me. And it's brutal as fuck. All right, so the comedy's top-notch. The action is intense. It's a thrilling story. And it has a stellar cast. What more do you want out of a film, folks?
That's all you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, I remember hearing about this one coming up, and as I saw the cast come out, I'm like, oh, awesome. Okay.
Right.
I'm very, very intrigued by this assembly of performers here. So nice, man. Yeah, you sold it for me all over again. So
I know, I
sounds
think it's
cool.
like a limited release, but if it's playing near you, check it out. But I bet it'll be on a streamer soon, and I definitely implore you to check it out there. But if you can throw some shekels, see it on the big screen, man. It's a fun watch.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
awesome, dude.
All right.
Love a good.
Well, you have
cast
something
of humor.
with a pretty interesting cast of characters.
That I do. We're going back to the 90s, folks. I was looking for another flick that just one of those movie titles I remember hearing about. I remember seeing the poster at the video rental store, and it's like, oh, you know what? Over here on Amazon, you can watch Down Periscope. That's right.
Oh,
The Navy comedic vehicle starring Kelsey Grammer and Lauren Holly is available to watch right now. Came out in 1996. This is telling the story of Commander Tom Dodge, Kelsey Grammer's character. He's like second in command on a nuclear submarine with. Hold on, give me a second. Why can't there's so many fucking people? That's what's crazy. This movie's nuts. Just how many cast members with big names are in here. So Dodge serves underneath William H. Macy's character on a nuclear submarine, a modern nuclear sub, and Grammer desperately he wants his own. He wants to be in command of his own. He knows he has what it takes. But there's a lot of people that don't really like his style. He's a little bold. He's a little brash. Maybe he doesn't do everything quite by regulation. The classic, of this era. I mean, what's funny is you go back and look at the 90s, this era had so many of these military movies with comedic main characters. And here's yet another one. But this movie's also got Bruce Dern, Harry Dean Stanton, Rob Schneider, a movie toast favorite, Toby Huss. You get some Harlan Williams, Rip Torn, and Patton Oswalt's first film ever. So nuts on the cast. When he finally gets his break, what he ends up doing is, all right, so we're gonna do a series of war games. We found out that there's still like diesel submarines being used, and we're just like, oh, so who fucking cares? That's old school shit. That's what we have nuclear powered submarines. We can fuck with some diesel subs. And it's like, no. Apparently we got to be really sure. So we're going to give you this old ass piece of shit submarine. And if you can get through our safety net, like our Navy net of all of their ships and their submarines, then we'll give you your own. But you need to hit these two targets, or like give a positive breed on these two targets, and we'll get you what you're asking for. Of course, it's like this mountain of a task. They give him this ragtag crew of just the worst sailors you could find. One of them is straight up trying to get kicked out of the Navy. The rest of them are just super goofy, super wacky, as you can imagine with this cast. And what's funny is Rob Schneider isn't even the goofiest one. Like,
that's hard to believe. Harlan Williams, maybe?
Harlan Williams definitely is. No, what's funny is Rob Schneider is actually the straight edge, by the book, hard nose, second in command.
I could see that. I could totally back to that point. Yeah,
little screaming matches, and he gets up in people's faces, and he does all the, and it's like that's his bit the whole time. Toby Huss is doing some shit I feel like I've never seen him do. Really weird, really
in a good way or bad way.
That's the thing. Here's my problem. Every character is such a cartoony caricature of characters you've seen 100 other times. So it got a few laughs from me, but overall the movie's not, it didn't age well. Way too slapstick at times. It tries to do these like very military sounding things and then turns around and undoes all of the work that they've been doing. For them all being sailors, these are seamen who have worked on other submarines. They're falling over all the time. Anytime the sub moves, and they're like, it's so wacky, but it's too wacky for me. The running gag that Kelsey Grammer's character has a tattoo on his dick is like, that's the one thing the military can't get over.
Family movie?
Like, no, this is not a family movie. It gets a little gross when like they sneak into Lauren Holly's quarters and they steal all of her undergarments and they dry her uniform so it's all shrunken and she can't and there's this awkward scene of her reporting for duty or whatever, and it's like the buttons on her uniform don't close all the way now, and her slacks are so tight she can't walk in them, and it's all, this is supposed to be funny. I'm like, I I feel like you've all sexually harassed this woman. This is not.
Yeah.
This is awkward. And then they do these very predictable movements. Anyways, without going into way more detail than I need to, now I can say I've seen it. Down Periscope, also available on Amazon Prime.
4.5 slices as well, I assume.
7 slices off the fucking chart. No. Maybe I'm being generous, but I'll give it 2 slices. It was kind of, I liked that they shot it on an actual submarine. In fact, the nuclear sub set that was used for William H. Macy's submarine was the set they used in Hunt for Red October. I found out. It, like the stuff they're shooting inside looks really cool. But that's kind of it. It was neat seeing these characters, or seeing these actors kind of doing their thing, but there's just too much of it. So you know what? I take that back. It's 1.5 slices. Let's be real.
Downgraded.
It went down. It went down. It's 1.5. It's 1.5. Like,
Wow.
There's no reason. There's 2 slice movies I enjoy. I would go back and watch again. I don't think I would ever go back and watch this again. So
I'm not gonna lie. I am like you when you said, I know I've seen the poster, I've seen the VHS cover, but never picked it up, never watched it. And now I'm kind of okay with that fact.
Yeah. It's and what's funny, it's like not even the only Navy movie that came out around. Tom Arnold had one too, and then there was a couple. I don't know. There's just, looking back, there is this funny little fascination with Sergeant Bilko, Major Payne. Why were there Major Payne was a great one. There's so many of these, like,
the 90s were all about those
comedic
things, man.
military movies. Operation Dumbo Drop.
Ooh, Danny Glover. What a film.
Yeah. So yeah, there you have it.
I got something a little bit different from that. I have a new movie that we got a screener from our friends over at IFC Films and Shudder, a film called The Rule of Jenny Penn. All right, this movie stars Jeffrey Rush as an old curmudgeon-y asshole judge who ends up having a stroke. He has no family to take care of him, so he is put into a nursing home. And while he's there, he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to take part in anything happening. Understandable. He thinks he's going to get out once things clear up with him, and he's going to make it and not be stuck there like all these other people. But he notices another patient there, played by John Lithgow. And John Lithgow is wearing this baby doll puppet on his arm that has no eyes, no hair, and it's just creepy looking. And when no orderlies or anybody at the nursing establishment are there, he runs amok left and right. He fucks with people, puts them in danger, tortures them, and he especially does this at nighttime. Somehow he has a pass that gets him through all the doors, even though the doors are locked. He goes around tormenting people while they're in their beds. He disconnects the little button on their bed so they can't reach out and get help.
Jeez.
And nobody speaks up about this. Everyone's just like, steer clear of him. Don't give in to him. Just go with whatever he does. And he does this to Jeffrey Wright's roommate. And just, this is one thing that he does, which is really stuck out in my head as disturbing, not even the most fucked up thing he does. He has you say, like, oh, who's in charge of me? Jenny Penn. And once you say whatever it is, I'm not saying the right thing, he's like, now kiss her butt. And he lifts up like his like sleeve and has them like kiss like the back of his wrist as if it's her butthole. And it's just creepy and weird.
What the fuck?
And Jeffrey Wright tries standing up, and then Jeffrey Wright starts getting harassed and he tries to fight back. But whenever Jeffrey Wright does anything in retaliation or stands up for himself, someone from the nursing home is always there and like gets him in trouble. And he's never able to be like, hey, I need justice. So he has to find a way to get revenge and shut this down because he's not standing for it.
Interesting.
And it's really chilling. It's dark. It's interesting because before we watched it, I'm like, oh, do you want to watch this movie with John Lithgow in it? I think it's a horror movie. And so I showed Sarah the trailer, and the trailer looked like a comedy, a dark kind of comedic horror film, but it wasn't that. It was a really disturbing.
Where's the funny? Where's the funny?
Yeah. It's like what looked funny in the trailer was really just dark and fucked up. And I loved it, man. And this was like in New Zealand. And it's funny because there's a couple actors who we noticed from a show that we like called Wellington Paranormal, which is a spinoff from the What We Do in the Shadows film. And there are actors in there that we recognize. Like, oh, yeah, that person. Oh, cool. They're in here. And it's weird because John Lithgow is giving like a New Zealand accent, and he has like these dentures in his mouth that make his teeth look like all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Just weird and creepy.
Interesting.
And
I like how you had it was like the inverse of the monkey, because I feel like the trailer for that makes it look straight horror, just brutal, intense.
I didn't think
pure gory horror, but then it ends up being like a lot of comedy, like it's mainly comedy throughout. And then you have this where it was trying to sell you on a comedy. You walk in and it's just horror all the way through.
That's so true, man. And it's interesting. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be so pissed off if this is a demonic thing taking over his body. It may or may not be the case, but the movie did not let me down. I am excited. This comes out in theaters on March 21st, and then few months later, I believe will be on Shudder and AMC Plus. I'm gonna give The Rule of Jenny Penn 3.5 slices of toast. It's a dark, brooding movie with fantastic performances and just a rich story and kind of a setting that we've never really seen a horror movie take place in, a nursing home. And it just really builds on your fears and kind of makes you think, oh shit, is this what could happen at some nursing homes? Can people really be running amok and the fucking staff doesn't even notice or care? And I think that could be happening. Oh,
brutal. Oh man,
yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah. And then you got something that we can kind of tag team that I almost reviewed on the last episode, but I was hoping you'd check out eventually.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah. What Adam's talking about, a recently released Apple TV Plus film, The Gorge. So there's a little Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy action. This is telling the story of, mainly we start from the perspective of a single soldier who is being tasked with doing a rather unusual job. It's not really told about it, but you're going to go here and you're going to get your mission from the next guy. Take this, don't open it till you get there. And then it'll start making sense. Turns out he's being brought to this unknown location. He's not aware of where it is. They chemically induced coma. They put him in till he wakes up on the plane as they're throwing him out, like right before they're throwing him out. And he arrives at this heavily forested area near a mountain that there's this giant crevasse. This dude is like, hey, here's your tower. Here's your guard tower. You're going to be here for 1 year. Don't let what's down there get up here. That's it. And don't talk to whoever's in the other tower. That's pretty much the only rules he's given. Maintaining the space. And for a while, it kind of just seems like innocuous. There really isn't anything going on until the curiosity gets the best of him. And he does try to start contacting the person in the other tower, who is,
although the other person was the one who was egging him on to like contact her.
Yes. One of the things I didn't like is we kind of didn't get that. We didn't see her handoff. It had already happened.
Like we started the movie meeting her doing an assassination and then going home talking to her dad, being like, I'm going to go on this mission and I'll be gone for a year. And her dad is like, well, I'm going to have killed myself by then. It's like, what the fuck? And then we cut to Miles Teller.
Way richer personal backstory than Miles Teller did for sure. But I really like the setting. I like the setup for the story. The idea of what's going on, I think, is really cool. First off, I think it would make a great fucking video game.
Oh, it felt like a video game.
Survival. It's a survival horror game, like waiting to happen right there. And then you finally get that moment where the creatures emerge and try to attack. The monsters I thought looked cool. They just enough cues to be like, well, wait a minute, these look like people, or they used to be people. Maybe they're clones of people. I'm not sure what yet, but there's several visible cues that they're giving that's like these are related to humans in some manner. And of course, they break that rule of contacting one another to the point to where Miles goes across the gorge to go see
lines.
Anya, and they become emotionally attached to one another. They've started to develop this relationship, a hilariously long distance, quote unquote, relationship.
You know, it kind of reminded me of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, where you had the two guys playing chess on the other roofs.
Yeah,
Except
if the
kind
whole
of more
movie was
romantic.
exactly, if the whole movie was that, and it had a romantic element of them being up on the roofs. No,
But
it's
it
funny because
kind
that's
of
what I thought
worked.
of
It
too.
was charming.
They even had a
I
chess
was
scene,
intrigued.
or like they even played
Yes.
chess.
And they called up the Queen's Gambit and whatnot.
Right. So I let then the movie, like, then there's a big oh no moment, and of course we got to see what's going on down inside the gorge. But
Yeah, once that
there's so many
happened,
things.
I lost interest.
Yeah, like there's so many things I liked about the movie, but then they spent so much time doing other things I just didn't really care that much. We way too long of this dance party scene. What the fuck is with these unnecessary dance parties in movies people keep wanting to inject in there that go on for it's fine for the
Yeah.
moment. Don't let it keep going on too long though. Like the romantic element, okay, I'm fine with that. But then we lean into it so hard. I'm like, well, okay, I get it. Maybe they assume the audience is just not intelligent enough for some of these specific elements. To the point to where one of the end of the film calls back to several things pointed out at the beginning, which I've been waiting for the whole time. You know, it's like they spelled it out in such specific detail. I'm like, okay, well, that's obviously gonna be a critical point in the film. And then we get to Sigourney Weaver's character gets kicked into action.
Great.
She's
barely in it, but fantastic performance.
She's really good at playing that. I love that sort of like the overseer. Yeah, she's not even at the top, but she's on a higher level than they are, so she definitely knows more information.
And what I really did like in the beginning of the film, after Miles Teller takes over, the guy who was telling him like the rules of the land was picked up, and then we quickly find out that you're gonna get killed when your mission ends.
Not a single word. Yeah, I love that. Like, not a word of this can ever go back to the main population. They are so nervous about what has happened down there that no one could ever know. And I like that it's like that finally sealed. From the fake like imagery being sent to satellites to this kill box of automated machine guns, all of these things leading into just this ultimate cover-up thing, which 100% there's people that believe shit like this happens all the time. Which, I wouldn't even deny it's impossible for there to be something crazy to this extent. Probably not.
Yeah, but not to that.
Not these. Exactly. Yeah. But it's for all there's things I really enjoyed, things that I didn't enjoy so much, but I still had fun watching the movie.
Now, I gotta say, I love the first act and a half, maybe first 2 acts, but I feel like once we got inside the gorge, I lost interest. Like, I feel like the buildup of what could be down there, what's coming up,
right?
Whatever you imagine in your head is 10 times better than what's down there, because it kind of felt like a Scooby-Doo mystery once we were down there, and I'm like, I don't care about this. I want to see more of their relationship and surviving and keeping things at bay. I don't know. I had mixed feelings by the end.
I feel like, if anything, they should have held off the creatures, the monsters, longer. They shouldn't have had so much coverage of them that soon in the movie. I get acknowledging that they're attacking that first like raid. I think would have been great, but maybe we just didn't see them in that great a detail, or like it's
like they're in the shadows, kind of, or not as prominent, or get up as far, or
or like that footage of let's keep in mind when they're looking at each other's towers, like, so the thumbnail that Adam has chosen, for those who can't see it, it's you see this narrow window, and the human figure is tiny. It's a tiny speck in this window. Yet they're seeing what their fucking chess moves are. She's calling stuff out. He's doing and it's not like they're super soldiers or anything. And they mess with that line their abilities seem to fluctuate as needed by plot armor throughout the film.
And then
And
once
that got
they're down in
annoying.
the gorge, they kind of have like Wi-Fi almost, it seems, or like technology. I don't know. There,
Like Anya Taylor-Joy's character goes from being an absolute fucking Black Widow level badass assassin to getting the fuck beat out of her. She becomes kind of helpless in a couple at one point. I'm just like, oh, come on. I'm
right?
not buying that from her. It's the script, the story and the script made us go this direction when I don't think she needed like this knight in shining armor, which Miles Teller
No,
ultimately ended up becoming. Even
you're
though
just a
he
need for
jumped in
man.
after him, you know, like it quickly turned into saving
It
her.
flips, yeah.
Yeah.
She's saving him, but then he's saving her, and it's like,
I thought
really?
it would have been cooler had they maintained the way that sequence started.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'm kind
It's
of
still a very fun movie to watch.
exactly. Like I don't regret watching it one bit. It was cool. The story, I like the plot itself. I really dug what they set up, and I really like this world. I almost wish there was a little more to it, but it is 2 hours,
Right.
so it's not like it's a short. It's, you know, it's not like it's a super quick movie either.
True.
But it moves at a decent pace. I just think there was some decisions made that I wasn't a huge fan of, but
Definitely.
still a good time watching it. Still a good time watching
Yeah.
it.
Definitely. And I like the fact that this was directed by Scott Derrickson, the guy who did Doctor Strange. And once he was out of doing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, this is what he went to do. And it's like, all right, I respect that. You did something different.
Nice. He's definitely comfortable living in this very not over the top world. Mystical,
Dark,
big magic.
yeah.
Like just not afraid of these big heavy elements while still recognizing we need to have the personal story of the main character. You know, you can have all the demons and crazy dimensions you want, but at the end of the day, Multiverse of Madness, it's about the lives. It's about the people at the center of the story. And The Gorge does the same thing. It's you have these these crazy elements and things going on around our main two cast, but at the end of the day, it's about them. So I like that focus.
Definitely.
There.
So how many slices do you think?
I'm gonna say 2.5. I
will piggyback that.
Okay, yeah, it's like I could see watching it again if I was with someone
Not
else
right
and
away.
they hadn't seen it yet. I'd be like, okay, I'd stick around for that. But yeah, it's like I wanted to like it more. It's what's funny is even Google tries to classify it as action horror movie. It has more comedy and romance than horror, in my opinion. Way more than I was expecting. Because when you watch the trailer, it doesn't even mention nearly as much of the comedic elements that come up through like half the movie. So I had someone ask me to try to explain what the movie was to them. I'm like, okay, give me a second here.
But I will say, I do like the fact that they didn't share the screen for a good act and a half, it felt like, but they had a great chemistry from afar and really built that relationship up, and it felt genuine.
And I'm a big fan of these two talents. They both do a really great job in just about fucking everything they do. Anya Taylor-Joy has been killing it in just about fucking everything she's in. So, and come on, Sigourney. I mean, it's Sigourney,
right?
So.
And the only thing that kind of bummed me out, I feel like this could have been kind of cool to see on the big screen, but why
this would have been epic on a big screen. It did a disservice by not getting there, you know. And then and just to play that card, I also could have seen this as a series.
Easily
move it a little slower and break it up into 1 hour segments. And I'd watch,
and that could have been kind of airy to spend almost a whole season without seeing anything in the gorge, but knowing that something is lurking amongst them and just building that tension. And oh man, I don't know, missed opportunity.
Yeah,
but you never know.
Apple, they weren't the first ones. They were doing this. Has been going on for, was it 50 years, 60 years? So I could easily see them. You could set it in different time periods, go back earlier, in the chain, and that could be a series. I could see that
Yeah.
happening. Watching this all in the Rambo's era 80s, and you're all just fucking M60'd out, and
Oh man,
yeah.
that'd be something. All right, well, I got one more movie to close us out here, Dennis.
Alrighty.
I've got the new Jack Quaid film, Novocaine.
Sweet.
All right, I just got out of the theater before we recorded the episode seeing this. This movie comes out March 14th. If you don't know the setup of this film, folks, essentially Jack Quaid's character, Nathan Kane, can't feel pain. He has this genetic disease that kind of makes it so he can't feel any pain. And he's lived this sheltered bubble boy kind of life for a while, and he's comfortable with it. He's an assistant manager at a bank, and he doesn't mingle with anybody. He doesn't do anything. He just stays at home and plays video games with the friend that he made online. And that's his life until one day he ends up going out on a date with a new teller at the bank who he's had a crush on for a couple of months. And the two hit it off, and one thing leads to another, and he is very happy, and his life has changed. Until a trio of Santa Claus bandits come into his bank, kill his manager, try to knock him out, and kidnap the girl. And he decides he's going to take it upon himself to go after the girl and be a detective to find out who these people are and where they took her. Even though the cops are trying to stop him from doing this. The cops think that he's in on it, and he's the most kind of happy-go-lucky kind guy, but he's pushed to the brink here.
Right.
And he may kill a few people. And throughout the whole movie, his body is being torn to shreds. Fucking mutilation, everything. Everything's thrown at him, man. The prosthetics in this movie are like intense. The action is really good, dude. Like, and the comedy is pretty good. And the relationship with him and the girl, and the girl that he has a relationship with is Amber Mindhunter, who is our main character in Prey, and she's given a great performance here.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Oh shit. Yeah, she was fantastic.
And her kidnapper, one of them is Jack Nicholson's son, Ray Nicholson. He's pretty brooding in this.
Okay.
And his friend, who he plays online games with, who he finally meets for the first time going through this journey, is played by Jacob Batalon, Ned from the Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland, his best friend.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, cool.
So there's a lot of action, twists and turns, comedy. And this movie moves at a pretty good, brisk pace. An hour and 50 minutes. It goes by fairly quick. It's slightly predictable, but still a fun joy ride to watch. I feel like
it's one of those where the plot doesn't need to be complex because it's the performance and the visual, like what's happening visually is shocking, and that's where your entertainment value is coming from.
Yeah,
it sounds like a lot of fun.
It really is. You got to turn your brain off for some of it, but whatever.
For sure.
The weirdest part to me is this takes place on Christmas Eve, essentially in 2024, and it's like, why was this not released during Christmas time? And it doesn't play that big a theme in the movie, but I don't know, it is for some
So what
reason.
you're saying is there's another Christmas movie to add to the list now, and when the holidays
exactly.
Yes.
And by God, Jack Quaid is charming. It's funny though, this trailer played when I went to see The Monkey with my friend, and my friend's like, Companion? I'm like, yeah, same guy from Companion, but different movie. Like, he's having a moment, Jack Quaid, and I'm happy to see him do this and Companion and The Boys, all very different roles. This is what I wanted out of the Ke Huy Quan movie, Love Hurts, which was a lackluster film. And this movie didn't disappoint. Was it as good as I wanted it to be? No, but it was pretty darn close. I'm going to give Novocaine, coming to theaters March 14th, 2.5 slices of toast. Well worth the watch.
Nice. All right.
I might see it again in theaters.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, you did some high marks this episode, sir. That's
I was
you
throwing
got
them
to watch
around
some
willy
good
nilly.
movies.
I feel. I'm sorry, folks.
No,
But it was a good week.
It just means there's just good movies this week, and
Heck
you
yeah.
definitely turned me on to some things I wasn't quite as aware of or hadn't even heard of yet.
Nice. I'm happy,
cool.
man. That's
Yeah.
good to hear.
That's what we're about here at the Toast.
Heck yeah. Woo! We
Well,
did it,
folks,
Dennis.
Yeah, it's
A long, tedious
a lot of
toast.
toast in there, but I think some delicious morsels in there for you to enjoy. I hope you're going to join us for the next episode. But until then, Adam, I think there's some other savory, toasty morsels that can be appreciated.
Perhaps. Something coming this December, our 5th annual film festival, Movie Toast
baby.
the Festival. We are now taking submissions, and entry fee is pretty dirt cheap, folks. So get us your film if it's under 15 minutes. Please, we want to see it. We want to toast it. We want the world to see it, folks.
That's right.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's we shoot it all ahead. It's all pre-shot, and then we stream it on YouTube. You'll be able to watch it there for free. Invite your friends over, make it a party out of it. We try to just make it a fun time. Us hosting might be fun, but we take watching these short films very seriously, and
definitely
we cover any genre you could think of, and they come in from all over the world. If you have a short film, or you know someone who's got one that they're looking to get more eyeballs on, this is definitely the festival for you to come check out. And if not, at least come and join us. It's a good time, and you get to see some great stuff
for sure. And if you're like, well, I don't know the link, how do I find it? How do I get more info? You can do that by following us on our social media outlets. We're talking Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, X, not Reddit, fuck Reddit, sorry folks. Blue Sky, YouTube, TikTok, all at movie_toast. And also YouTube, if there's a movie out in theaters or streaming that we haven't reviewed on the show, chances are I'm reviewing it over on YouTube. I just realized we have over 1,000 videos now over there. So come check us out.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Badass. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to take in. If you feel like you're, like Adam said, if I feel like a movie's been skipped, there's still a really good chance he's watched it if it's a new release. So be sure to get all of the tasty, buttery goodness that you can. Get all that toast in.
And you want to get news, man, fed to you in your veins, and you can't wait 2 weeks for a new episode of this show to come out. We put the news out on the social media as well. News, trailers, whatever, man. It's all over there.
Give us a follow, give us a like, come check us out. But maybe
that's for sure.
There's something specific you want to say you like or don't like about the show. Come on and leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts. We take it into very serious consideration. If you got a critique or you just want to give some props to a specific aspect of the show, we just want to fine tune that toaster as best we can. So please just drop us a line and let us know.
And we're not fucking around, folks, all right? Because we got feedback about one of my favorite segments of the earlier seasons of the show, which was trivia. I love doing it, but people didn't love listening to it. So guess what? We don't do it anymore because of the input of the audience. This is true.
It does have an actual impact on the show.
But you don't want to submit your film because you're not a filmmaker, or you think our festival sucks dick, or you don't want to follow us because you hate listening to the show or watch it. I don't know why you made it this long, this far into the show.
I was going to say, wow,
or you're just overwhelmed by all the shit that we have for you. It's too much. We ask you to do one thing and one thing for yourself that's free and simple, and we don't benefit at all from it, folks.
That's right. What we'd like you to do is please stay toasty.
Stay toasty.
I'm the Dennis, they're the kings of the real. Reviewing new movies, they keep it real. Coast to coast, from LA to the east. On the podcast show, they feast on the beast. Adam's bringing knowledge like he's Professor X. Dennis with cuts deeper than Wolverine's claws. I guess Marvel, DC, they know them all by heart. Breaking down the plot, tearing every scene apart. They got the juice like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Breaking down movies with a sharp precision. Adam I'm coming in hot like a John Wick hit. Dennis bringing the heat like the climax of a Tarzan flick.
And Al, once again, if you want to drop the Inspector Gadget theme song from the 80s and 90s cartoon, that'd be very heavily preferred. Oh, man. That was a lot to review and talk about, but I feel like we had some good combos going there.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
yeah.
No, sorry. I was just thrown off for a minute.
No.
Like what kind of post-show conversation is this? Still recording.
I
Okay.
don't know.
That's right.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
Have you checked out your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? I know you.
No, we gotta
fan.
renew our Disney Plus subscription. Let it lapse, and then I just need I don't know why, because we were paying for it in the full year. So
fair enough.
But no, I'm jonesing for my Skeleton Crew, and I want to check out Spider-Man.
Andor season 2's coming up.
That's right around the corner. And
Daredevil Born Again's coming out today.
See shit. Okay, so I know what we're doing this week is we're getting that back on up and running.
And might I suggest for $30, I think, or 20 something, you can bundle up like I do, man. Your Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max.
But then but what I found with that package is a lot of those include the ad versions.
No,
so
I got ad free, man.
Really? Last time we looked at it, okay. Yeah, last time we looked at it, because we were going to do that, it ended up being now this was probably at least a year ago now. It was still cheaper to piecemeal them for the ad-free versions, but if they actually throttled the price where it does make sense. That
for me,
does that have the Hulu Live or whatever with the
No, not Hulu Live.
Okay.
No, man.
Okay.
That's the downside.
That was one I would like to add on, but that's quite a bit more, right?
That's like almost as much as cable. I think it's like $60 or something.
And you don't even get all that much.
Yeah.
No, that's not worth
Fuck that. But I highly suggest if you do get it back, checking out your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Fantastic.
Fuck yeah. That looks awesome. The artwork alone is I'm intrigued by, as we saw at Comic-Con when they were promoting that. But and it almost fits in with the MCU, but it's a slightly different universe. And instead of Tony Stark as his mentor, we have Norman Osborn, and Coleman Domingo plays him, and he just fucking kills. Nice.
It's fantastic. Sorry,
cool.
I'm not here to talk about that, but definitely.
Oh, definitely gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm definitely watching that one.
Whew. Anything you can think of before we wrap this bad Larry up?
No, I've sent all I got. I was excited to share about watching that cut of Star Wars, so I just wanted.
I'm kind of excited to check that out. That's kind of dope.
It's a cool one. Hopefully, it sticks around for a while and they don't lose it. But
for sure,
and it's kind of fun if you watch through after the credits. You'll get the credits of the people who actually cut this version together, too.
Nice,
and it's all their like usernames. It's none of their names.
Smart move. Yeah. Even though if you have the user, you can track down. But whatevs.
Yeah,
they're doing the Lord's work, folks.
That's right.
I like to think we do some good work here, but
we're preaching to the herd here.
That's true.
They're writing the scripture, but we're preaching it. So.
Thank you for listening and watching. This was a long one, but a good one, I think.
Thanks for sticking around, Toasties. Till next time.